two of the great smartwatches of 2021, Ticwatch Pro 3 and Huawei Watch 3. But which is the better one? I think you're going to get your answer in just a while. Let's begin. Hey, welcome everyone, it's where we inspect cool tech. These two contenders are definitely cool looking and very powerful productivity tools, besides of course being glamorous addition to your outfit. I know that right now you may have a lot of questions, like which one is more accurate or smarter, or supports more apps? I'll do my best to objectively analyze the most frequently asked questions regarding these, and keep in mind that I have full, detailed reviews of both devices on the channel, so if you want to deep dive into all the details, check the description of this video where the reviews are going to be linked. So, who's gonna turn out being stronger in the first battle about design and build quality? We'll start with the Ticwatch Pro 3, which keeps some of the design ideas of the predecessors, but clearly improves a lot the feeling and the look. Materials are stainless steel and plastic, a great combination which provides durability and at the same time keeps the device rather lightweight. Unfortunately, Huawei seem to have dropped with this device the military-grade standard and just cover the IP68 water-resistant rating, but undeniably, it looks good. Concerning Huawei Watch 3, wow, such a decently built watch. Clearly focus here is on the details. Polished edges, premium materials, overall much more elegant. Combination of stainless steel and ceramic. There's a Pro variation and an even more premium version called Watch 3 Pro Elite, where titanium is used instead of steel, and it's even more remarkable. While Huawei don't advertise anything fancy about durability, it's pretty obvious how solid this device is. To sum it up, better materials, nicer look and probably greater durability, Huawei Watch 3 has a flying start. Next major component, the display. It could be the reason to buy a new watch, but may also be the deal breaker. I think we all realize that we talk about touch-based screens over here. Both of them are of pretty decent quality. Inspecting the details is going to reveal which one is better though. Ticwatch Pro 3 keeps on using their awesome idea about the dual display. It's a combination between colorful AMOLED display and a low-power FSTN display to be used as a regular wristwatch. This great idea has a number of advantages. First of all, that's the least consuming kind of always-on function on a true smartwatch these days. Secondly, it has a perfect visibility in direct sunlight and also could be activated during workouts, which clearly is a big advantage for athletes. As for the AMOLED screen, it's also very good with resolution 454 by 454 pixels and diameter of 1.39 inches. If we look at what Huawei offer on the other hand, it's slightly bigger at 1.43 inches, has better resolution. What truly matters is the brightness and color reproduction, and with peak brightness of close to 1000 nits, the Huawei Watch 3 is one of the best visibles in daytime among the competition. So that probably is going to be the first challenge where you can attack my decision, but I'm gonna call it a tie. Slightly better AMOLED screen for Huawei, but Ticwatch offers the secondary screen, which, thanks to its simplicity and technology, has a lot of advantages. Comment below and let me know if that's a fair decision or not. So, let's see if it's going to be a bit easier to pick up a winner with the battery life. In fact, I am the right guy if you want a lot of statistical data about battery performance. Ticwatch Pro 3 is the best Wear OS device about battery life ever. I was usually getting more than 2 days per charge, and that by using the always-on FSTN screen, 24/7 HR, and SpO2 tracking, sleep tracking, stress measuring, sports, apps, all of that. But even the super large for a smartwatch 577 mAh battery is not enough to beat the Huawei Watch 3. Because endurance there is on a next level. If I do pretty much the same, with the remark that here we have always on based on AMOLED and it consumes significantly more power, the Huawei Mate device gives me more than 3 days and a half. If you happen to buy the Watch 3 Pro, you're going to count on up to 2 extra days on top of that. And since we talk about battery, worth mentioning about the charging, Ticwatch needs its cable, while Huawei let you use a wireless charger for the Watch 3, so that's a win. Going further with the features part, we need these devices to be capable of doing quite many things, like having a fast Wi-Fi connection, rely on the latest Bluetooth technologies, GPS, NFC for payments, tracking HR and other health data, show the weather, relieve our smartphones from some daily tasks and so on. Generally, both of them are quite capable of doing all of that. Both devices support phone calls, with the Ticwatch Pro 3 having LTE versions supported in just some countries and providers. Also, inside it has currently the best system on a chip for Wear OS devices, and it's a lot more responsive than most competitors, but I have to admit that Huawei Watch 3 deserves to win here. They have a dual chipset system, which greatly improves standby battery consumption, and offer this rotating crown, making the user interface navigation so much quicker and easier. And also, newer versions of some of the hardware characteristics, including faster Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chips, and despite the NFC implementation won't let us use Google Pay, I do believe the feature set on Huawei Watch 3 is better. Now, the fifth round is probably the most important one, about the software. And I'm going to once again remind you that you're going to find a lot more details about the software in my full reviews of both watches. So, looking at Ticwatch again, in a nutshell, access to Play Store with thousands of great apps including Maps, Spotify, Strava, Shazam and so many others of your favorite apps. This can be easily installed and synced, and thanks to the fast processor, they work so well and fast. That's on top of the anyways excellent Tic Apps framework, including Tic Oxygen to measure SpO2, Tic Pulse to measure heart rate and all the rest to track your health status. Wear OS has never been great about customizations, but it's slowly getting there, one step at a time. Also, we shouldn't forget the presence of Google Assistant, which is just one swipe away and works so well in almost all countries. With Huawei, the situation is tad different. Watch 3 is the first wearable to run HarmonyOS, but at this point of time, I don't really see or feel the harmony in their software. Yes, it is customizable, but not as much as Wear OS. Yes, it scrolls so well, and maybe this is one of the few true advantages over Google OS system. There are so many tricks and things that are missing, like no option to respond to notifications, even lack of quiet hours setting to keep the display off during night, and while such minor imperfections are expected to get better with future updates, I don't see the App Gallery getting good enough anytime soon. App Gallery is the Google Play alternative that Huawei have been developing in the past years, but none of the apps I've mentioned earlier is to be found there. In short, if you use a lot of Google services like Google Maps, Google Drive, Google Assistant and so on, this definitely is not your device. But if you like to tinker with HarmonyOS and try new and totally not popular apps, could be quite adventurous. And since we talk about technology to serve us well, we have to play it safe, and that's an easy win for Ticwatch Pro 3. One step further, and here are the smartphone apps. 2 of them to support the Ticwatch device, and a few of them for Huawei Watch 3. Now, the official Wear OS app for smartphones is rather limited, even from the perspective of an Android user, even further limited for iPhone users. Both devices count on homegrown apps to visualize the statistical data about the health tracking features. While the installation on the Watch 3 is kind of a nightmare, because it requires manually downloading the app from App Gallery and also needs Huawei mobile services to be installed, it is clearly the better and more capable piece of software with so many customization features. Mobvoi have recently upgraded their app as well, and finally offers some really good interface, but there is still some way to go. So that's another round where Huawei Watch 3 is able to steal the victory. The workout modes are a trendy topic these days. Huawei are among the champions for offering the most in their wearables, but I'd rather favor better tracking over greater quantity. Now, we'll start with the Huawei device for a change this time. Quite many sports, pick the one that you need from the list and start the activity. Some of them offer GPS tracking, really inaccurate with this device right now, and some customizations on top of that. Right now, music playback during sports is a tricky thing, and given the fact copying music to the watch is kind of a nightmare because you need Huawei Music as well, I was unable to get any music controls during sports on Huawei Watch 3 ever since I have it. Also, the button operation is just silly, and there could have been a lot more functions added to the buttons for workouts. On the contrary, it's quite cool to practice sports with the Ticwatch device. No, there are not that many workouts, but you can control music. You can use the buttons and count on proper always-on screen, well visible even if there is direct sunlight. And the usage of buttons is priceless. Just remember how impossible touch-based navigation is with sweaty fingers. Adding on top of that the lack of integration with most sports apps, Huawei unfortunately fails to monetize the workout's amount advantage, and Ticwatch Pro 3 gets another point here. And time for the last round and wrapping up with the prices. $300 for a Ticwatch Pro 3 versus $350 for the most accessible Huawei Watch 3. With the remark that Ticwatch has an edition with LTE, which costs around $360, and Huawei's product line grows up to a special Pro Elite edition nearing $600 or euro. Fairly expensive if you ask me, but uses the absolute finest premium materials one can pack it with. So, in the end, both of these watches have their strong and weak sides. I believe Ticwatch Pro 3 is the more practical choice, with interesting dual display setup, good battery life, much better software, bunch of great health tracking and productivity features, exceptional for Wear OS sports tracking, and well-evolving smartphone app at a rather great price. Concerning Huawei, while they still have a lot to catch up with in terms of software, hardware is quite superb, so is the build quality, the feature set, and the smartphone apps. It is clearly the better choice if you want true premium feeling on your wrist, but as a person that often needs services and apps provided by Google and Play Store and also requires payments from time to time, I'll probably stick with the Mobvoi Mate wearable, at least for now. Luckily, software is an area where Huawei can easily step up their game, and while wishing both of the companies more and more successful updates, let me ask you, Wear OS or HarmonyOS? More premium design or getting some plastic for a better price? And that's totally worth it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I hope all of that was helpful and useful. And don't forget to give us a like if you want more of these comparisons. Links to both devices and a discount, if I manage to find such, are available in the video description part. I'm Michael, and we'll be back with more in the next episode. Bye!